was facing some problems lately to put this live, but yeah, it's live now on YouTube. So it's solved. Hello, everyone on YouTube. I'm going to be your host today here at Talk and Talk. And we can start with today's theme, which is, let me see, embracing change and adaptability, how to navigate life's transitions with confidence. I don't know if, for example, anyone here made recently a career transition and doing one of these at the moment. And when this theme came up to me, I started to think a lot of this because um, I'm needing to embrace a lot of change and adaptability at the moment. So I hope it's going to be a nice theme today. So Isabel, would you like to start with the first question, really, and answer for us, please?
Okay, sure. Let me see here. Do you see change as exciting or stressful? Why? Well, I don't know, but in my case, I consider like a balance between exciting or stressful. I saw like opportunity to do things that I wanted to do to improve myself in this challenge, if it's a professional side or even my personal life. But also, when you don't understand what's going on in the future because of this change, sometimes you feel like very stressful because of that. So, in the same way that I'm excited about the change, and maybe in the future I will achieve some goals or even be better than in the test, I feel this stressful because there's a possibility that this will not happen, and then I become very sad in the future because of that. So um, and I consider that a balance between both.
Um, do you feel any kind of fear about not knowing what's going to happen? Is something like this?
Yes, yes, I feel this sometimes. I try to don't think too much to become very sad because I consider that even if you pass through some challenges or even sad things, in the final point, I don't know, in the final line, the thing's gonna be okay. So I try to put that in my head to keep going.
Right. Thank you, Isabel. And you, Iago, what do you think about this?
I would say that for me, changing is always stressful because I don't know if that means something to you guys, but I'm a Capricorn, so I like things very still, you know. I like things very still. I like routine. I like things in the same way. It's easy for me to deal with things like that, you know. So even though I feel excited with some changes, for example, I changed my job if uh 3 weeks ago. I'm in a new company. So even though, for example, I'm really excited for this new job, I am still really stressed about it. This last week, I think that I didn't sleep one day that it was good because everything affects my sleep quality. That's terrible. And I don't know, but that's something that I am reflecting more and trying to change because I'm trying to embrace the feeling that I can't control everything in my life. We can control some aspects, but we can control everything. For example, today I was leaving for the gym in the morning, and I was filling my bottle that I take with me, and then I was grabbing the water bottle in the fridge, and I dropped down the bottle. and it was a lot of water on the floor, and it was already 6:30, and for me that's late to go to the gym. And I had to clean everything, and I was like, okay, Iago, you need to clean because this water will flow for I don't know where. You need to clean, and then you go to the gym, and that's it. We can't control everything. So that's something that I am trying to internalize more, I think. But it's really hard for me sometimes to deal with changes and some things that don't come off as I expect.
Okay, thank you, Iago. Uh, I see yourself in me, your whole answer. So understand you. And you, Daniel.
And many times I see as exciting. Yeah, always like to see things on the bright side, the good side. I usually see the changes are good things, and which help us to develop and evolve, and the Isabel said. But of course, there is heavy choose change not expected can cause the greater anxiety and the sadness, uh, such as the lose relative, the family, parent, and the member, a friend, and something like that. But I like to see if the changes with a new challenge to become even are better, né? To improve in our skills.
Well, in my case, I write down everything what Iago said. I'm a Capricorn as well, so I know it's not science, is not science, but uh, it's funny how similar sometimes these behaviors are between people among people. In my case, I try to see the bright side, like Daniel said, of the thing, the positive side of embracing change, etc. But at the same time, it's very stressful to me. So I remember, for example, when I started studying software development 3 years ago, the first 6 years was very crazy to me, very stressful, and I thought many times that what a bad decision had I made because it was very tough and completely change of the my comfort zone. I was at a comfort zone totally, and I decided to do this career changing, and it was completely uncertainty that I had to deal from this time until today. So I know where I how I improve it during the last 2 years, and how good this is this is happening to me until now. But I can only see this right now because when I'm doing the thing and having to deal daily basis with these challenges and embracing changes, etc., it's very stressful to me. I can sleep very well. This is not a problem to me. The amount of knowledge that I need to deal daily to learn, uh, uh, learning new things every day. So this this doesn't bother my sleeping quality, for example. But the during the day, this is very stressful to me. So um, I'm going to accept some tips during this immersion because it's not easy. I like to see things planned on trail, and when I have to go to another route to do something, this is something that I hate to do. Although I understand how important it is to have this flexibility and so on, but that's it. We're all together on this, Iago. Next one, Daniel, could you read and answer first, please?
Okay, what's on the big change you have experienced that had a positive impact on your life? And I remember for me the big change is my last job change, and was something that brought brought is the significant improvement in my quality of life, and not something in addition to the pay, the money, but I have more the flexibility of working from home, and have the flexibility in the time too. And in the starting the new job, at first I was very scared and fear, and but now I feel very satisfied and enjoy the daily changes in the work. And for me, is the the big change in my life in these last years.
Very nice. You, Iago?
I think that for me was my career changing in 2022 because I used to be a teacher. I was a teacher for 5 or 6 years, I think, because I am graduated in English. So I was an English teacher in public schools. So, but then with the pandemic and I don't know. I think the pandemic changed a lot of things for me. And then in 2002, I started working with instructional design that is still with education, but not teaching. And it was really good because I was able to learn a lot of different things. And now I continue doing this. And a really recent change was changing jobs. That it was really, it's been really good also, even though it's been stressful because, new company, new tasks, new responsibilities. So I'm trying to deal with this, but it's been positive most of the time.
Okay, thank you, Iago. And you, Isabel?
Well, in my case, I consider a big change when I started to read more, because when I was teenager, I doesn't don't l- doesn't like sorry didn't like to read too much. But once a time that I bought a book that teach another persons to read, like how you can read more. And I bought this when I was teenager. And when I read that, I started to think, well, it's actually very interesting. Maybe I try to read more. And then with time, keep going with this, read more books that I consider good books. And nowadays, I could saw my journey with that, and I started to have the feeling that I can read more fast books. Like when I spend more time reading just one book, nowadays I can read more fast one book and then start another and understand the things that I'm reading actually. So I consider that is a big change that I improve myself, impact in the good way my life. And I hope that I continue doing that because It's very nice.
All right. Well, in my case, as I said before, I am transitioning career, and the thing is, when am feeling now that I am in the middle of the tunnel, so I can see the light at the end, but uh, where I am at the moment, I can see the big picture totally because I'm still doing this thing, and the positive impact on my life is going to happen in the future, not now. So the bad experiencing the bad side of the thing at the moment. But I see how important this is for me because, like I said before, I was at a comfort zone, and the problem of this um, was I had a lot of downsides, threats that were surrounding my career in terms of growing in career in general, not being able to, for example, work in another companies where I live because the market is restrict and I don't have many possibilities to move to another place in my previous occupation. And when I started to search about other careers possibilities to work from home, for example, or has this flexibility to my occupation be important in different places independently where I live and even in another country using the English language for this. This is the the positive side of doing this transitioning career, and I can see this very clearly. So I know this is going to be very positive in the future, although this is not materializing at the moment. So it's like I said, in the middle of at the tunnel at the moment, not at the end. But I know everything is going to fine. It's going to be fine. Okay, so next question, Iago, could you read and answer for us, please? Question number 3.
Okay, how do you usually react when faced with unexpected change? Usually I freaked out a little bit, as I said. I never feel ready for when something happens that is not expected, that I didn't plan. Um, so it's always a stressful moment for me. But I don't know. Now I always try to, okay, this happened. You have to deal with it. What can you do about it right now? Can you do something with it? If so, do it. If you can't do it something right now, that's for the future. That's something that I try to do. And something that I do is that when I am feeling overwhelmed about or overthinking about something, a specific situation, I like to write down to understand if that really means something for me, because most of the times I notice that it's not a big problem. It's just a big problem that exists in my mind in that moment. But most of the times it's not a big problem. And it doesn't need a specific solution because it's something that I don't know, it will pass. But every time that something unexpected happens, I feel stressed.
Okay. And you, Isabel, are you as stoic as him?
My God, but I just remember a situation that I have to face an unexpected change, but it's a little one, but I react in a bad way, I think. I bought a laptop in the last year, and I spent a considerable money in that I was keeping in my I forgot the term in English, but estava guardando. And but the computer in the first month that I bought, saving, thank you, started to bring some problems. And I started to despair because of that. My God, why are you doing this? I don't know, and become very stressful for that. And I called the the shop that I bought and tried to solve that. The final of the story, my computer is okay now, but I don't know why I feel like very despair and crazy because of that. I was thinking about the money that I spent on it, and because of this situation, I think that I have to stay more calm when I face some change and don't despair too much, because if I start to think like that, I will not solve the solution of this problem. So it's the thing that I learned from this bad experience that I had. So nowadays I'm trying to face with more calm and saw the pros and cons and be have faith, because in the future or when I solve this, the thing's gonna be okay. I try to see that point of view.
Okay. And you, Danielle?
And I try to understand and feel calm and understand what caused the change, or the sudden change, and if it is a possible. But and I try to face it in my best way possible. But if it is a bad change, I try to be a strong and resilient. Last year I have the and I don't remember the term. Fui assaltado, and have the situation is crazy. And two days ago, in my international trip, it's a very crazy situation. Like it, I don't like it this, and I needed to run to organize the documents and the situation, the things. But if it is a good change, I enjoy it and I'm grateful, and what happened, it's a good change. But remember only the situation, the bad change recent is the case. But the more cases is a good changes, and I react in the best way possible.
Yeah, the challenge is to know how to react well with this unexpected changes. I like to think that I usually deal well with unexpected changes. Uh, I consider myself a very resilient person. So I'm a not so emotional person, although usually I am at a very good humor. Usually I am very analytical in the way of how I see things in life. So I passed with in my recently life in very difficult things in my family, very difficult, and I dealt very well myself with the situation of losses, for example, and I dealt very well. The challenge for me was how to deal with the people with the same situation. So usually I do well with unexpected change, but sometimes, for example, in work, in a collaborational environment, the most difficult thing usually is to gather the people and deal with this unexpected change together in family, etc. So the most difficult thing for me is this side of the unexpected change, not myself, but if it's a family thing, or like you said, Danielle, if you're in the middle of a trip and something bad happens, something that was not planned, or some problem you have to deal in family, in your personal life. I usually, as I am very more analytical than emotional person in these matters, I do well with this, and yeah, that's it. Okay. Next question. Isabel, could you read and answer for us, please?
Sure.
Question number 4.
Okay. What strategies help you adapt to new situations more easily? Well, first, I believe that if you are in a good mood, like in a peaceful way, try to solve all the situation that is going to happen, or even this new challenge that you face on. I believe it's a good start. And then if you have to, I don't know, make a hard decision, is a challenge that you need to choose between two options, I don't know. I consider like the pros and cons method a good way to help you. Like if I choose this way, what the thing's gonna happen with me, or even the good or bad things this way, and you know the about the other way as well, and choose an option. I consider that a good way. Actually, I used that in the past too, when I was faced on a hard decision in my work. Um, well, I can also try to solve the problem with different point of view. I believe as well can help you to understand more the situation. Those strategies.
And you, Iago, how you deal with this? What strategies do you have?
Um, I I try to, as I said, I like to write down most of the times when I am when I'm feeling overwhelmed or overthinking about some situation. I think that it really helps to make a clear mind, to make a good decision if it's something that I need to make a decision about it. Uh, but usually this I I usually try to do this line of thinking that, oh, if that's something that I can solve it right now, or if that I really needed to deal with it right now, okay, I will make some action. If it's not, I can deal with it later. I can talk to other person about it, about this problem and about solutions. But most of the times I write down and I take to my therapist so I can think on that. And something that I'm started trying recently, I started meditating. I do like at least one little session per day. And specifically today, I started this acceptance challenge that it's like a whole month of meditation, that it's like the definition of this challenge is life not always happen as we plan, and some things are beyond our control. And that's exactly what I need right now because I'm not sleeping for the last weeks. So I need to accept and embrace change and have a good night of sleep.
Very nice. Iago, as Iago starts to answer his question, I see him as uh, a philosopher, a philosopher, a Stoic person from the Roman era. So, all right. Uh, and you, Danielle? Meditopia is the name of the app, right? Okay.
I don't have a well defined strategy, but all the big challenges in my life, uh, I plan very well. I have the very many time for plan the big challenges, and for me, the changes are happen constantly, and that this uh, often the result and of our evolution. And for me, uh, that changes are part of humans, or humans, and that we really living in life, and it makes the changes make it me crazily the confident and adapt to changes. Now I like the I read the book Mindfulness, and I like the methods for the uh, maintain the calm and the plan of the situations.
I'm not a person who meditate or try to make any kind of mindfulness, but I never thought this as a strategy, but something that I like to do as many as possible in my daily routine is first have a routine, and inside of this routine, this is schedule that I program to how my day is going to happen. I separate milestones, goals to achieve in terms of how much effort I'm going to put in specific tasks. And in the middle of these very tiny tasks that I know it's a must to do during the day, I have buffers, and once I'm seeing on my spreadsheet how much I've been investing in terms of time in these specific tasks, goals that I have, uh, I feel more flexible in terms of, for example, have this flexibility to do something that wasn't entirely on my plan. So, for example, I know that I I have to deal with the fact with, for example, my wife had a hit with the car, and I have to take the car to solve this. So it was an unexpected situation that I had to deal, and as I have this in my mind, how much time I put in this test that I do daily, it's much more easier to me to stop it, what I'm doing in my day to solve these little problems that happens every day, because I know that I invested certain amounts of time in these tasks, and apart from this, I have these buffers periods to deal with situations which happens every day in our lives. So it's a kind of a dashboard that I have, and I see exactly what I did and how good is this what I'm doing, and it's much easier to me to just separate the whole period of the day to solve a problem and go in the next day to continue doing what I was doing, and I had to stop to solve this expected situation that I had to deal. So it's I like to think when you organize your life well, it's easier to solve these things, these problems that happens. But if your life is a mess, it's much harder to deal with these situations, to adapt to new situations that happens on our lives. So I try to stay as organized as possible. So when shit happens, it's okay to deal with them, and you already know that you did a lot of things that you had to do, and it's easier to inside your mind to say, okay, so it's doesn't matter that it happened. Everything's on trail. Okay. If anyone else has to answer this question, or everyone answered? Sometimes I get lost in this order. Okay, so next one. Let me see. You, Isabel, go ahead.
Okay, number 5, right?
5. Yes.
Okay. Have you ever resisted change only to realize later it was for the best? If I understand correctly, the answer, that once in the past that I was struggling with a doubt about my personal life, and I was resisting for the change. And in that situation, I asked for opinions and then start to think more about it, try to figure out what is the right thing to do. And then in the conclusion, I realized that this changes was for the good. And the resistant changes was stop me to grow, like in a situation of my personal life. I don't know if it's correct, if I understand correctly the question, but it was that situation that I faced on in the past, and then the change was for the good, actually.
Yeah, and you gave us another example in other question that you said when you started to try to read more, and this was another example. You
Yeah, another
resisted
example. You're right.
first,
Mm-hmm.
and after some time you saw the benefits and how good was to take
Yeah,
this
that's
decision.
another example too. You're right.
Okay, and you, Iago?
I I think that for me was when mm, 2021 I was at a work that became really hard for me because I don't know, I think that I was too young for the role because it was a leadership role, and I think that I was too young for that. Um, and then I started doing therapy to understand better. And then I was told a lot of times by my therapist that I was with some symptoms of burnout. And it was hard for me to understand and acknowledge that because I was like, okay, I understand that this work is not working for me anymore, and I probably need to leave. But if I don't work, how things will go? And then it was a long time. I think that it was maybe for a 4 month process, to discussing this weekly with my therapist, talking a lot with my husband about it. And then in 2022, in the beginning of the year, I decided to leave that job, and it was the best decision that I made because uh, I don't know. I think that that work didn't mean nothing to me anymore. So even though it was good, I met really nice people there, but I don't know. It was a really stressful year for me. This, along with pandemic, that it was already hard, but I think that it was it. And then the next year was a little bit hard because I wasn't able to start working immediately. I only started working I don't know, maybe in the end of the year in 2022, but now I know that it was a good thing to leave that work. It would be harder for me if I kept myself there.
Very good answer. And you, Danielle?
Yes, I have been in situations where I avoided for that change of feel fear, but in the future I realized that if I had gone that situation earlier, that outcome have have been better. However, I believe that is the part of life, and everyone has their own way of face the changes, and we will always have something we wish we had done sooner. For example, for me, uh, uh, exposure to studying English with more focus, for example, is that on a situation we had done earlier. And for me, I have any situations, I I agree of anyone, everyone have the situation, have anything is they have uh, sooner for me.
You gave a really good example. How many people don't do this? Try to avoid to practice English and expose yourself to the situation, to have a webcam open and in front of it speaking without the fear of making mistakes, etc. So it's a really good example. Personally, I have a funny thing about adopting new technologies. Usually, I'm not an early adopter of anything, so I like to wait a few months to see how things evolve about adopting a specific technology, and just after these few months, I started use it. So I don't like to be the obaya. I don't know this term in English, uh, because I like to see the thing more evolved, more ready, the the more readiness of the application or the service, new thing everyone is talking about, instead of starting from scratch. And I usually think that I'm losing time because, for example, when a new technology come up, and you just after a few months, you see more mature documentation, material talking about this technology, maybe a course, a online course about this new thing, and you can see if people are still talking about this new thing or not. So uh, just a thing that came up on my mind was the adoption for people of new currencies as investment. And after a lot of this time, only Bitcoin and the other, maybe two and three other cryptocurrencies are still a thing. The other are basically trash. And the other technology, I forgot the name, which is pictures, and you sell this picture and negotiate these pictures. I forgot the name, and it's trash today. So I like to stay to avoid be early adopter, because we only see the good things of technology, adopting new technologies, but there are a lot of them people don't talk anymore about them, and they were detached nobody talks more about it. If you were the early adopter, you would lose a lot of time investing in knowing this technology or adopting or investing your time to become an specialist and maybe having a career opportunity on it. It's harder to make this choose, but um, I I usually am a person who likes to see a more mature thing instead of trying to be the one of the first people to take part of it. Okay, so next one, you, Daniel. Would you like to read it for us, please? Question number
Okay.
6.
What's only area of your life where you would like it to embrace change more? I said the English, the area I changed the most now is where I have a great focus and the exposure to study English for me. It's a change that if I had made in the past, and today I would no longer have any problems to speaking or listening English. And another change I want to embrace is move it to another country in the near future. I want to live in different countries for a while, for a time, especially now with the possibility in working remotely. And the two things I have the change in the future in my life is a focus and more in the English and the changing in culture.
Very nice, Daniel. And you, Isabel?
Yeah, I think it's related with Daniel about study a language. Like, and I consider that I improve a lot if I compare with the past, the way that I'm talking in English with right now. And because of Talk and Talk, I consider that happened because being an immersion and talking English helped me a lot. And maybe even I have some things in English to improve or even learn more vocabulary or even like verbs, something like that. Maybe it's time to starting to study a new language. I don't know. Maybe I can improve that as well. It's something that I consider that is one area of my life that in the future, even not too much distance with by now, probably I embrace to improve my life as well.
All right. And you, Iago, anything new on the backlog or the new feature?
I I think that for me, something that I would like to embrace more is the ability to make mistakes because I think that I am too hard on myself. I always think about, oh, if this don't get along as I expected, everything will be terrible, everything will fall down. And I really try really hard to not be so pessimist, but sometimes it's a little bit hard for me. So something that I am thinking about a lot recently is that I need to embrace more um, this allow myself to make mistakes, to not be great at everything. Like for example, I have a lot of hobbies right now, and something that I try to think now is that I don't need to be great at any one of them. I don't need to be really good. I just need to do something to clear my mind. And that's helpful. But I think that is still when it comes to work that is something that I take with a lot of responsibility. If something goes off, I think that everything will fall down right now. And I don't know, that's something that I need to change more, I think.
Do you think it's more a mentality thing or not in your case, Iago?
Yes, I totally think that it's something that I need to work with myself in my head to not be so pessimist, to not, because I don't know, I know that something that I try to think is that everything will work out in the end, but not usually this way of thinking works for me, you know. So that's something that I need to make an effort to change. Now I acknowledge this, for example, and that's something that I need to discuss more with my therapist.
Fair enough. Um, well, something that I would like to improve in terms of embracing change more is attending more events in my area to physically. Going to events is something that I intend to do in the near future because it opens your mind so much. The new connections that you have, you improve your networking, you meet new people, and you see different ways of viewing your career, the technologies that you use. And I know this is a very important thing that many people um, overlook. So uh, it's something that I'm going to invest more in the near future because I had some small experiences of how important this is. These small connections, this small networking that you do, and you take big steps forward in this little thing. So yeah, this is something I will work more in me in the near future. So basically improve my networking and at the same time connect with new people about the technologies that I like and I want to improve to see different points of view, how people are making things happen with them. So that's it. Okay, so guys, our time is over, but I would like to hear from you a last thought about what did you learn in this immersion. If you have anything to share, feel free in one, and you can choose who can start it.
It was amazing. I really appreciate the immersion. Thank you, guys.
Very good. It's amazing.
Yeah, for me the same. It was a really topic to talk about it. It feels like a group therapy session for me.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you guys.
A lot of immersions has this
Yeah.
behavior. I mean, in the end of the day, this happens with me a lot of time because I starting to listen to you and uh, writing down some thoughts, some new insights about life in general. So it's like a therapy, a group therapy. Okay, so thank you for being here. The next immersion, the Marcos is going to be here and just replacing here. Usually I'm replacing people at the moment because I have some free time during the day, flexibility while I'm studying. I'm not working at the moment, so it's easier to me at the moment to do this. My immersion itself happen on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. So feel free, anyone who would like to not watch Fantástico and participate in an English immersion, I'm going to be here. So see you next time, people. Thank you.
Next
Bye bye.
time.